Hello dear fans, friends and subscribers. Welcome to the Cricket Happening Show today, and it is going to be some live cricket commentary coming here in the first one-day international match between Australia and England. As I am talking to you, the score, we are in the 47th over here at Southampton at the 80th ball. It was Australia who actually won the toss and elected to bat. And well, they definitely were doing well initially, but I thought England have really fought back to get into the game. And Australia currently are placed at 270 for 6. We are in the 47th over, so under 3 more overs to go before the Australian innings ends. So I'm coming out here with a cricket update. Mathew Wade, but this partnership has done a good job. In fact, right now, we have Mathew Wade, the wicketkeeper batsman, not around 50 or 40 deliveries with 8 fours, and Mitchell Marsh is also doing a good job. He has really restrained himself. He has not really gone into those big strokes, but now probably Mitchell Marsh might unwind, according to me, and I think it's high time that he unwinds because there are only 3 overs left. As I'm talking to you, Mathew Wade has been sent for a boundary here by Mathew Wade, who moves on to 54. The Australian score moves on to 274 for 6. And as I said, Mitchell Marsh is not out on 26 of 25 deliveries with 2 fours. A sort of a restrained knock from Mitchell Marsh, but under circumstances, Australia will definitely take that. And the current partnership is really blossoming. In fact, it has been a very good partnership because the last time, as I said, Australia were doing well in the initial stages. England fought back and they were at one stage, Australia were reduced to 193 for 6. But a great recovery has been staged here by Mitchell Marsh and Mathew Wade, who have already added 81 runs in 10 overs. So not only have they really resurrected the situation for Australia, they've also added some valuable runs and given some real momentum to the game here. So the match is really getting up. As I said, 3 more overs to go. So I'm going to keep some cricket commentary going. I will come back to that, but I just want to just briefly tell what exactly planned out. So just as I said, Australia won the toss here in the first one-day international at the Rose Bowl here in Southampton. And Joe Burns and David Warner gave a wonderful start to the Australian team as they put on 76 for the first wicket in 14.3 overs, a touch about 5 runs mark, one could say. Burns was very impressive. So Burns continued to impress. The other day he made a very good T20 debut, as you would remember, even though Australia lost the match. And David Warner also, as you know, he played some very good strokes, some glorious strokes. And Joe Burns was also looking impressive as both raised 76 runs for the first wicket. And Joe Burns was the first to go as he was caught and bowled by Adil Rashid, the spinner, for 44 of 53 deliveries with 5 fours. After that, Australia once again capitalized on a very good start, which was provided by Joe Burns and David Warner, as the captain Stephen Smith joined David Warner. And Stephen Smith definitely was a bit restrained. I thought the bowling was getting a bit better when the part-timers and when the non-regular bowlers were in operation. Ben Stokes and I wouldn't say that it was really good, but definitely I thought that Stephen Smith along with Warner really decided to bide their time at the crease, in the sense they decided that wickets are very important because, as I said, they got a good start, but I thought they capitalized and pushed the score on to 133 before Rashid was the man who was doing the trick play. He was the one who was picking up all the wickets, and he was the one who picked up the wicket of David Warner, and the score reached 133. So that partnership yielded around some 57 odd runs before David Warner was the victim of the bowling of Rashid for 59 of 67 balls with 6 fours, and then out came George Bailey. But George Bailey, well, they definitely, in fact, Stephen Smith and George Bailey once again decided to punish some loose deliveries and were really playing themselves in. And that was a stage when we had the spinners operating, Adil Rashid, Moeen Ali, the Ben Stokes, the medium pace. Well, Bailey and Smith slowly pushed the score along to 164. They added 31 runs for the third wicket when Smith, after making 44 good runs, 54 balls, 3 fours and 1 6, Adil Rashid once again amongst the wickets. Adil Rashid was has been swarming on the Australian batsmen, as Stephen Smith was caught by Stokes for 44 or 54 balls with 3 fours and 1 6. And then that was the time it was 164 for 3. But from 164 for 3, the Australian innings plummeted. First it was again Rashid started the slide here, one could say, because he had Bailey LBW bowled Rashid for 23 or 16 balls with 1 4 and 1 6, so scored at 178 for 4. And Glenn Maxwell, the dangerous customer, was sent back to the pavilion by Mark Wood when he was caught behind the stumps by Butler for 15 of as many balls with 1 4. And this was the time where I thought England definitely came back into the game. Australia had everything covered. They were doing a pretty good job, I thought, but that was the time, as I said, from 164 for 3, and we can say even 133 when Warner departed. Things really started falling away for Australia, with wickets of Warner, Smith, Bailey, and then Glenn Maxwell, the dangerous customer, was out for 15. And we also saw that Shane Watson got himself run out by a Stokes-Butler combination for 6. And suddenly, Australia, who were ruling at one particular stage of the game, in the initial stage of the game, really found themselves really in some real trouble here with the England bowlers really starting to slowly get their act together, and the score read 193 for 6. But that was the time Mathew Wade and Mitchell Marsh were at the crease, 2 new batsmen at the crease, and probably England would have thought that they could slowly try to see whether they can really rattle the Australians, but that was not to be. Mathew Wade and Mitchell Marsh. In fact, Mathew Wade has been very impressive with his stroke making. He has been very strokeful in his very sweet little knock of an unbeaten 54 40 when dealt with 9 fours. Mitchell Marsh now at 26. As Australia, as I'm speaking to you, the current score is 2. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you down to some live cricket commentary when I'm seeing the match here, just for a difference. And while I'm doing that, I will also talk about some cricket news. So while I'm talking to you, as we are in the 49th over, I'm going to take you live to the Rose Bowl, Southampton, to give some cricket commentary. Adil Rashid has been the one who has been amongst the wickets. As I'm talking to you, the score has reached 286 for 6. Mitchell Marsh has moved on to 29. Mathew Wade is continuing to impress with his stroke making. He's not out on 63 or 46 deliveries with 11 fours. And the bowling, Stephen Finn has been costly. 7 overs done for 41. That was a spell where Joe Burns and David Warner really lent on to Stephen Finn's bowling. Mark Wood has been pretty costly. 9.2 overs, no maiden, 1 for 64. Chris Wokes, 8 overs for 46. But Adil Rashid has completed his quota of overs, and he has done a marvellous job. His 10 overs has cost him 59, but he has really purchased the wickets. He's got 4 wickets to keep Australia on a real really on the back foot. And Moeen Ali, 8 overs, none for 37. Ben Stokes, 6 overs, none for 38. So that's the match situation. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you live to the Rose Bowl, Southampton, in the first Monday International, to give you some live cricket commentary. I'll keep my YouTube broadcast going till such time the innings of Australian innings finish, and then I'll give you the update, and I will end up my cricket show. In the meanwhile, I can also share some news with you, saying that the Sri Lankan captain, after India beat Sri Lanka in the Test series 2-1, Mahanatha Pattu, the former coach, and the coach has decided to resign as the Sri Lankan coach. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see who is going to be the new Sri Lankan coach. And also, Saeed Ajmal, the red-arm spinner of Pakistan, feels that there is still room for him to come back into the Pakistan team. And I'm also told that the Waka in Perth, as is fondly known as, I'm told that it will be probably hosting its last Ashes Test in 2017-18, and it has been Waka Perth has been really been such a such a wonderful haunt for the pace bowlers, I would say, but very sad to see that in 2017-18 the last Ashes Test will be played at the Waka ground in Perth in Australia. But well, as I said, as I promised you, I'm going to give you some live cricket commentary, and as I'm talking to you, looking at the match here at the Southampton, the Rose Bowl, the 49th over has just ended, and I thought Mitchell Marsh and Wade have done a good job, but they've not been able to. They picked up 13 runs in the 49th over and 294 for 6. So Australia will still be happy with this particular score that they have on the board. The 50th over is about to start. One has to wait and watch who is going to bowl. So once this 50th over is over, I'll be winding up this cricket happening show of mine. This partnership has been invaluable for Australia, according to me, because the current partnership is worth 101 runs of 12 overs. So it gives a run rate of 8.41. A marvelous job being done. Not only did they resuscitate the Australian innings from 193 for 6, but they have also taken them to a really, I would say, a very solid score right now. Mitchell Marsh is not out on 30 of 29 deliveries with 2 fours. Mathew Wade is not out on 70 of 49 deliveries, 12 fours. Has been very impressive with the stroke making. As I'm talking to you, the Australian score is moved on to by 2 runs, as Chris Wokes has been entrusted the responsibility of bowling the final over. The first ball that he bowls to Mitchell Marsh. Mitchell Marsh gets it for 2. It was a straight delivery, full and straight delivery, and Mitchell Marsh stroked it along on, and it was very good thinking by Mitchell Marsh. He actually forced Mathew Wade to run with him, and as Mitchell Marsh head towards the striker's end, and 2 runs have been completed. So the score moves on to 296 for 6, as Chris Wokes goes back on the top of his bowling mark, rubbing the ball on his trousers vigorously, and it's a final over. The second ball, Chris Wokes gets himself ready, is running in, he comes in, he passes umpire, bowls to Mitchell Marsh, and Mitchell Marsh this time, there's a dot delivery on the board, as Mitchell Marsh actually had a premeditated action here. He tried to move himself. He was trying to take his leg down the leg side, and probably trying to see whether he could actually go and send Wokes cutting to the ropes or over the ropes, but in the process he missed it, and in fact I thought it was Chris Wokes who was pretty smart for it, as he actually snubbed the ball through Marsh's leg, as Marsh attempted a cross bat swing, he missed, and a dot ball on the board. So that's good bowling from Chris Wokes, and good thinking, as Chris Wokes once again readies himself to bowl the 3rd delivery of the final over of the Australian innings, as Wokes once again slowly running up, gingerly run up to the wicket. Then Axel Wright bowls to Mitchell Marsh, pitched on the stumps, and Marsh actually drills it down to the long off region and trots across for a single. So the score moves on to 297 for 6 now. We have another 3 legal balls to come in this particular over. Let's keep an eye on that, dear fans, friends, subscribers, and Australia first would be liking to reach the magical mark. Well, I know that's a formality is going to happen as the 4th delivery, but I thought Chris Wokes is doing a wonderful job here of really bowling a marvelous final over, because it's given just as I'm talking to you. In comes Chris Wokes, bowls to Mathew Wade, and Mathew Wade once again is unable to get more runs here, because Wokes has been bowling a good line and he gets only a single. Actually, what the Wade did was he stepped off, and actually Chris Wokes, as I said, is much smarter for that. He actually snuck in a Yorker, and in the end it was Mathew Wade who had to dig it off from his stumps, and they get a single. So this over has been pretty economical for I think a wonderful over for England here, but the score has moved on to 298. Mitchell Marsh was on strike. Only 2 balls left, and I think Marsh has to really not only has to get a wild swing at the ball, he has to really connect the ball. Let's see what happens. It's Chris Wokes coming in slowly, approaching the stumps here. Ball, this is a full delivery, and what a swing by Mitchell Marsh. Mitchell Marsh has swung it all down the ground for a massive 6. What a way to bring the 300. So, in fact, Chris Wokes was bowling the over well, but Mitchell Marsh spoils it by hitting it straight over the fence for a 6. That was it with real power there, as a mighty swipe down the ground. It goes over the fence, and this 6 takes the Australian score to 304, and now only 1 more ball left in the final over. and that will be the end of the Australian innings. In comes Wokes, runs in, bowls to Mitchell Marsh. Mitchell Marsh, he fires it in as Marsh tried to hop him down the leg side, but in the end he gets a single. I think he should be relieved. The over in the end, 11 runs, but I still thought Chris Wokes bowled a good over as Australia end up with 305 for 6 of their 50 overs. Mitchell Marsh remaining not out on 40 of 34 deliveries with 2 fours and 1 6. Mathew Wade not out on 71 of 50 deliveries with 12 fours. A wonderful knock from Mathew Wade. I thought, as I said, he has been his strokes have been really some brilliant strokes. He has played some marvelous strokes there. And look at the partnership. This partnership, they came at the in fact, Mitchell Marsh and Mathew Wade came when the chips were down for Australia at 193 for 6 in the 37th over. But they have really combined well together, and what a partnership. 112 runs in 13 overs at a clip of 8.61 has taken Australia to 305 for 6, a fighting total, one could say, at the Rose Bowl in Southampton. Mitchell Marsh is not out on 40 of 34 deliveries with 2 fours and 1 6. Mathew Wade 71 of just 50 deliveries. I've been pretty impressed by this knock of Mathew Wade today, 12 fours, and it has been a very timely knock coming from him. So I think considering the pitch is playing good, and especially considering the history of the Southampton, the Rose Bowl in Southampton, I think it is it's only likely that I would only say it's a fighting total. I think England still have a chance, because with the aggression that they showed against New Zealand, if that is going to spill on today onto the Southampton in the Rose Bowl, I think it would be this match would be up for grabs for England. Well, dear fans and subscribers, I think that really sums up my cricket happening show for today. I was very glad to do some cricket commentary today. Hope you all enjoyed this cricket broadcast of mine, and it will be interesting to see how England shape up to chase 300 and how they hunt down the 305 runs. And I'm sure they are going to meet this with lots of aggression, and should be a very interesting tussle on when England come to bat. As I said, this is a cricket update that I'm leaving you with, dear fans and subscribers. Hope you all loved it. I'll be back to talk to you about this England innings tomorrow on my next cricket broadcast. So keep your eyes fixed on cricket happenings tomorrow, and your host Ram will be there to entertain you. Till such time I see you, dear fans and subscribers, it's your host Ram signing off. Thank you.